Yes, my friends and family, Stephen here with Nuevotec Productions, and we're here today with JJ Tiziou. JJ, how are you today?
I'm doing quite well, thanks. You?
You know, tell us today, what do we have going on here today?
We're at the Mural Arts Program's Community Paint Day for How Philly Moves. And there's about 200 people in that room who are helping to paint this mural that's going to go up on the side of the parking garages at the airport. It's going to be one of the largest murals in the world.
Wow. One of the largest murals in the world right here in Philadelphia. But before we get into all of that, right, let's speak a little bit about about yourself. For me, this is brand new to me. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and some background, like how did you get inspired into this?
Absolutely. So I work as a photographer, and I do all sorts of stuff, but I mostly photograph people and movement. I've photographed a lot of dance, among other things, both from performances and also kind of all my friends' weddings and this, that, the other. And so the theme of this mural, How Philly Moves, is about dance. And so it's about the fact that it's something that everyone can connect to in some way. And it's about, not just actually about dance, it's about Philadelphia and Philadelphians. And so it's sort of about using dance as a way to celebrate, and photos of people dancing as a way to celebrate our community.
Right. So here we have JJ. He's a photographer. And tell us a little bit about all of the dancers. Tell us the process. Like, you have a lot of dancers there. How did you select those dancers, and why did you select those dancers, more importantly?
Absolutely. So there's only one criteria for people to participate in this project, and that's that they self-identify as a Philadelphian who loves to dance. So I'm not making any decisions beyond that. If you live in Alaska, if you only dance in your bedroom, but you consider yourself a Philadelphian who loves to dance, like, you can be a part of it. And so we put out a call, like, through every possible bit of outreach I could do, to invite people, from all backgrounds, all parts of the city, to come to these photo sessions where we had people dance however they wanted to, and I photographed them all the same way.
Nice.
So that's the basic deal. I mean, there's people here who are professional performers and used to be on stages. There's people here who are students and, hope to perform as dancers someday. There's also people here who dance only in social settings, like at weddings or nightclubs, or only in their bedrooms or at the bus stop or whatever. It's anyone who loves to move, and they're all sort of equal in this project and all perfect for it. So the decision-making part was a tricky one because, like, last year we put out a call for the next round of photo shoots. I already had some images, but we wanted to get more people involved in the project. Yeah. And I had room to photograph 60 people, 60 sets of people.
So, but how many people actually did participate? Well, like, how many photos did you take?
I've taken like about 16,000 pictures.
Wow.
There's about over 160 participants.
Wow.
But last spring, when I put out the call to do 60 more slots, we had, in like 2 weeks, 420-something people signed up. And they're all perfect for it, right? Like, It's not like I care what kind of dance they do or what kind of body they have or how old they are or anything. Like, they're all perfect for the project.
Yes.
So it was really a challenge to go through this spreadsheet of the styles of dance people have and, like, what parts of the city they're from. And, try to pick a sampling that gives us a sense of the amazing diversity of the city.
Now, how many dancers did you actually boil it down to go up in the mural?
So in the mural, there are 26 dancers. It's 24 individual photographs, and 2 of them have 2 people in them.
So that must have been a lot of scrubbing to come down from 1,600 to 26.
Oh my goodness. Editing is the biggest challenge,
Now, it's so difficult because in the day of video, now we actually see the transition and stuff, right? But as a photographer and as an artist, right, tell us about, as you were scrubbing these pictures down, what are those moments that you looked for with these dancers that actually depicted, okay, this is the essence of Philadelphia, and tell us about your idea.
Well, in terms of the subjects, all of them are the essence of Philadelphia,
Yes,
so
being
really,
from Philadelphia.
Yeah. And so the trick there's a couple things, in terms of the actual aesthetics of the photographs, trying to pick first figuring out which of the photos that I like,
Right.
And there I tend to work with this idea of movement, not trying to totally freeze the movement. I don't want to catch them totally frozen so they're static. I tend to slow down the shutter speed a little bit and move with the dancers. So it's something where, and sometimes if they're spinning over to the right, like, I have to turn my camera to the right a little bit, working at slower shutter speeds to get like a photo that's like a little bit blurred, like this one back here. You see, like, her face is sharp, but then the fabric is all sort of flowing and moving around.
Nice, yes.
And so that's kind of the thing I look for a lot. But in terms of which ones we picked, then, there's a couple constraints because the walls of the parking structure have all these gaps that we're not covering. And so I had to pick images that actually fit on the sides of the walls. And they all had to work together in terms of, there's the basic design of like, okay, you're putting two pictures together. You want them to like fit shape and color-wise next to each other. You want the whole thing to work as a visual composition.
Right.
With positive and negative space. Then you have the second dimension of a different type of negative space. It's not just the black in the photos, but that's the actual gaps in the walls.
Right. Because I was going to ask you about that, because you have a lot of those white gaps. So
there's gaps in the walls that we're not covering up. So sometimes you might say, oh, I've got these two photos, and I want to put this one next to that one, so I want to make it a little bit bigger and like a little bit higher.
Right.
But then all of a sudden someone's head gets cut off by a gap, so that doesn't work.
Right.
So design-wise, it was really complicated. And then there's not just, of course, the visual aesthetics, but then there's this whole idea of, are we making something that represents all of the city? Because there's more types of dance in the city.
Right.
I mean, you can only fit 24 photos on that wall.
Right.
There's more types of dance than that in the city. There's more demographics in the city than that. So no matter what, at some point someone's going to say, hey, my type of dance or something like that is not up there. The question I thought to myself is, can I make something where even if I don't see myself or my friend up there, I could imagine them up there, where everyone would kind of feel welcome, be like, hey, yeah, I could see myself as a part of this project, because it really is about sort of the broad cross-section of beautiful people we have in the city.
Yeah. I know that for us, like photography and the whole mural is all about storytelling, right? And it's such a wonderful story that you're putting on here. And that is an incredibly difficult job to dwindle all of those forms of dance down into just a couple that brings out the essence. It's really fascinating.
One of the exciting things is we're doing an exhibit in the baggage claim of the airport. There will be a permanent exhibit that will include more than 160 photos. So we're really going to represent a lot more of the people that I photographed.
Right.
That'll be permanently there in the rest of the space. Because this idea, again, it's not like the 26 people that are on the side of the parking garage are any better than the other people that I photographed.
Yeah.
So at some point I had to stop and say, okay, this is the design that's going to work. Right. There's probably other combinations of those photos that could also work. Some are better than others, but some are equally good.
Yeah. So also, let's talk about a little bit about the story for you as an artist that it tells, right? And for you, so for an onlooker who just coming into the airport to Philadelphia, what story do you want it to tell to them?
Philadelphia's best resource is its citizens, its Philadelphians, right? And my general working philosophy, whether I'm photographing dance or anything else, is that everyone is photogenic. There's this whole culture. Sometimes it's easy in our culture to feel like those other people are better than me somehow. Those people in the front of the magazine, this, that, the other. And the idea that someone else is more photogenic than me, that's crap. There's like 200 people in that room, and each and every one of them is beautiful.
Right.
So for me, it's about looking at our neighbors and realizing that they're our best resource. And that all those people, when you're driving into the airport and you're stuck in traffic and all these people in cars around you, like, you might start to think of them as bodies in your way, but really they're potential dance partners. They're all, potential friends and partners in creative projects like this. And it's just about looking at our neighbors in our community and celebrating it.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about your core team here. I mean, this is a huge project.
Huge project.
So
it's definitely not just
tell
my
us
project.
about your core team.
All right. So there's two phases on this thing, but what's making the mural happen is the City of Philadelphia Mural Arts Program. They're an amazing organization. We've got 3,000 murals across the city. I love the work they do, and it's an honor to be able to work with them, especially in this scale. On the photo component, there's the dancers. There's, the 160 people that I photographed. Like this, I wouldn't have done this on my own if they hadn't participated. That already is huge. I couldn't have done those shoots on my own without a whole team of volunteers. If you go to the How Philly Moves website, you'll see most of them acknowledged. I hope most of them are all on there. There's a big old list of names. So many people I can't all list that made the shoots happen. And now, as we're translating it to the mural, there's a core team of muralists. Jon Laidacker is the lead muralist, and he is in charge of a team of muralists who are basically translating this design. They're like the biggest printer I've ever used.
Right.
I'm used to saying file print. Now it's obviously make this big crazy design.
Correct.
And turn it into 1,500. Still, 1,504 pieces of canvas that are painted individually, and they're all going to be glued up on the wall over the course of the coming months.
Listen, I went inside there, and I was looking at it, right? And I was wondering, how do you chunk such a huge project and bring it down and cut it out so that people can paint it? And also, all of the little fragments that are put 1, 2, 3, and they're all labeled, right?
Yep.
How did you go about doing all of that?
So I spent a whole lot of time in Photoshop breaking it down to the individual panels and figuring out the color palette there. And then once I sort of split it up and simplified it, then Jon and his team did the translation phase. So they took the sort of simplified set of colors that I picked out and turned them into paint colors. And then they actually projected each image on the wall with a digital projector and traced it with a pencil.
Wow.
Picking out the contours and then basically numbering it and turning it into a giant paint by numbers.
Now, you have a huge number. I can't even... how many painters you said were in there today? 200?
I mean, about 200 people participating today.
And it's the third day, right?
Yeah, well, this is the third community paint day. There's a smaller core group of people who have been working all winter long every day.
Right.
And there's these couple events that are open to the public so that anyone else who wants to can come and be a part of it. People who are enjoying this, the Mural Arts program does community paint days all year long, and you can find info about them on their website. So this is the last one for this project. But if you want to help paint murals that are going up all over the city, you can go and be part of that.
So for people who want to participate in such a movement, right, where can they get more information on?
So this is the last community paint day for this project, but the Mural Arts program, City of Philadelphia Mural Arts program, their website is muralarts.org, and they do community paint days like this all year round. So you can jump on their website, sign up for their mailing list, and find out about other events making murals in communities all over the city. So it's easy to get involved with, and they're awesome.
Listen, I see a lot of people in there having a lot of fun. It is a very cheap way to have a beautiful date and to have a lot of fun. And tell us about what's on the horizon, what's next for Where Philly Moves.
So How Philly Moves is continuing on, and there's a couple exciting things happening with this project. You know, I photographed 160 people, but only 26 of them are going on the sides of the walls. But we're doing an exhibit in the baggage claim at the airport. It's going to be a permanent exhibit. When you're coming out of Terminal C or whatnot, you'll be able to look at all these Philadelphians on the wall. I just saw the samples for that, and it's going to look gorgeous.
Nice.
So that will have like.
And you don't have to worry about people's heads being chopped off.
No, now we can do the full photos, which is beautiful. Whole lot of them. And then we're also doing a project with the Kimmel Center's Philadelphia International Festival of the Arts happening in April. We're going to be projecting images from the series combined with photo into a special digital montage. It's going to be like a digital moving mural on the side of the Kimmel Center, 3 weeks from dusk to dawn in April. Information about that's at pifa.org, PIFA.org. It's the Philadelphia International Festival of the Arts.
Lovely.
And the last thing is the photo series is going to continue on. My hope is to keep on photographing people like this.
So you know what? If people want some information about yourself, then please.
Then the best place to go is howphillymoves.org, and you can link to my personal photo website from there. Or you can go to everyoneisphotogenic.com, which is an important message that you should spread to the world.
All right, Stephen here, Nuevotec Productions. See you soon on the dance floor.